Thanks for staying with us for Midday. Congress is on recess, but the work continues for Utah's congressional delegation. Representative Mia Love of Utah's 4th Congressional District here to talk about what's happening in Washington. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, Glenn.
So, about 8 months into your first term, how's the transition going?
Well, the transition is going well. I think there are a lot of people, including Utah, that were wondering whether I was going to be a show pony or a workhorse, and I worked really hard to gain the respect of my colleagues and to make sure that Utah knew that I was going to do everything I can to get things done, do everything I can to put my head down, study the issues, and get to work. Even
on this recess month, you've been busy. Yesterday, you were at a naturalization ceremony.
Right.
A special moment for you. Talk to me about that.
It was really, what an inspiring and great moment. I was so honored to be there. I had the opportunity to talk and tell them about what my dad told me about his experience, and that, you know, those stories are similar. They worked really hard to get to where they are, to really earn the right to be a U.S. citizen. And listening to them take that oath, I really wish every American can take that oath. It wasn't just pledging their allegiance to the American flag, but really understanding the responsibilities of being a U.S. citizen.
And your father talked about coming here to provide a better life for you and his grandchildren. Yeah. And what are his thoughts now?
His thoughts are, thank goodness he came when he did. You know, it's a lot more difficult now. You know, it's easier to be here illegally than it is to be here legally. And, you know, this is an issue that I don't think that the president should tackle. I think should tackle it, and I'm really hoping that Congress will start tackling these issues, making sure that we create a uniform rule of naturalization, doing everything we can so that people can have that same experience that my father had years ago.
That's a really big talker on the presidential campaign right now. I'd like to get your take on what we're hearing from the leader on the Republican side. A very hard line. We will build the fence. We will deport. Do you think that's the right approach?
To take everyone, deport everybody. I mean, where's the positive message moving forward? Really, what I'm looking for in a presidential candidate is someone who is going to put the politics aside, roll up their sleeves, and do something. There are two different types of people in Washington. People that want to be someone and someone that wants to do something. I'm more interested in those who are interested in doing something. What is the plan? I would love to see a great plan. This issue is being used as a wedge to divide us as Americans, when it can be used as a plan that unites us. And I want to see the positive plan that unites us as a country, that protects Americans and really helps people earn the right to become a U.S. citizen and really take on not just the privileges but the responsibilities of being a U.S. citizen.
I'd like to get your thoughts on the Planned Parenthood controversy. Those videos coming out really has become a big talker in Washington, D.C. What are your thoughts when you first saw some of the content of these videos?
It's heartbreaking. It's absolutely horrific. I always get a little bit emotional about it because it is personal to me. I am a mother first and foremost, and it's really hard to see that there are some people that have become so desensitized that it doesn't bother them. They can talk over lunch about taking a child that's alive and extracting brain tissue from that child. That's not who we are as Americans. And as far as I'm concerned, my job is to protect life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Take that very seriously, and I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that we don't divert from that conversation, that we actually talk about what's happening, which is the death of these babies, harvesting their body parts to sell like commodities on the street.
So you will be involved in a discussion that is centered around funding for Planned Parenthood. What should happen?
I think that we should continue to investigate, see what illegal activities are being done. We should do everything we can to protect life and to make sure that the American people, especially Utah, knows exactly what's happening. This issue that we're facing has less to do with the practices that we all are okay with in terms of making sure that we deal with health issues, women's issues. Those are important issues. But what we have to deal with the horrific actions. And we cannot allow people to distract us away from that, to turn our eyes away from what's actually happening, which is the killing of babies. We've got to do everything we can to protect life. And that's my job. That's what I signed up for, and I take that very seriously.
You just returned from Israel. You met with world leaders there.
Yes.
What's on their mind?
Well, I can tell you they're baffled. They're baffled because they thought that the United States was completely with them in keeping nuclear weapons away from Iran. At this point, I'm going to make it very clear. I've heard both sides of the issue. I've listened to a briefing with Secretary John Kerry, and he was vague at best. We sat down with President Rivlin of Israel, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, on both sides of the aisle, from the very far to the far right to the left. They're completely united in opposing this deal because they deal with these threats every single day. They know that when Iran says death to the United States, that they want to see us destroyed, we should take that seriously and not give them $100 billion and help them in their efforts to destroy us. It's absolutely out of control. The administration worked from a position of weakness. I think we can get a better deal. We have solutions for a better deal. We have answers for a better deal. And we need to say as Americans that this is not good enough, that we are not going to kick nuclear bombs down the road so our young ones can deal with it.
All right, and that's a discussion that we'll pick up when you guys